You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Tim Fulton.
I'm Eddie Smith.
And this is What Do You Got?
What do you have?
What Do You Got is a segment where we speak good English. What Do You Got is a segment where we ask the other guy, what do they got? We talk about what they got, we discuss what they got, and then we all got it a little bit more. So there you go. And on this What Do You Got is Andy's turn. We're going to be talking about finding new shows. I feel like in parentheses it should be on Netflix.
Should be what the fuck? I was going to say Netflix.
Yeah, it's a little bit more wider.
Okay, so there's this weird thing that I thought it was like just me and a couple other people that apparently everybody does. Well, most people do, or a lot of people do. I don't know. I'm making the statistic up so it works for my topic.
Go for it.
When you're done with a show that you really like and you go to find a new one, and then you have time, you're sitting around, and you're like, oh, I just keep watching the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
And then you go to look for one, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's fucking The Office or Game of Thrones. It's always
100%.
the same fucking show.
It's always the same show.
Yeah.
We live in a very weird day and time where we can watch whatever we want when we want, so we always go to our best. You know what I mean?
Paralysis by analysis.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Or opportunity paralysis.
Opportunity paralysis. That's absolutely correct. Because why? Because a lot of shows don't get good till later. There's actually a thing where people will tell you what episode you'll get into a show. Because like even Game of Thrones, like
I don't trust people.
Game of Thrones are okay. Well, that's a different issue
like
altogether. Game of Thrones is a fantastic show, but a lot of people don't get into it until after like the first episode's done, or like that might be a bad example, but like The Office, I can't get into season 1. I haven't seen the show because I can't watch the first season.
Yeah,
It's a fantastic show.
But the thing is with that though, isn't that part of it? Is the reason why it gets good isn't just because the episodes get good at that. It's because you're that invested in the characters where you stop forgetting that you're watching a show.
Yeah, but my point is that why would I watch several episodes of something I don't know and don't like when I can go to the old favorites?
That's true, but if people are talking
problem.
about a show, like and saying it's a good show, or like Game of Thrones, like I started watching that when it came out.
Yeah.
So because I like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But when you're saying like, oh, people tell you when it gets interesting or whatever, even if you know all that, people still don't watch the show.
Yeah. Because why would you watch several episodes of something you don't want when you have the old favorites?
Because how did we get on the old favorites then?
I don't know. Sparks.
Yeah, interesting.
Sparks fly.
I
Something
think
has to happen.
Game of Thrones was one of those shows when I started watching it. Everyone was like, that's stupid. It's like fantasy fucking shit. And I'm like, man. And then season 2, it was same shit. Nobody really watched it. And then I think it was season 3.
I forget when I started watching that.
Yeah, I think it was season 3 where everyone was like, oh, Game of Thrones is like, and then it just became a fad. And then now it's a fad to hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I there's a couple shows I want to watch. I think the reason I don't watch them is because every time I have the time to watch TV, I'm probably tired.
Yeah.
And I don't have the attention span to pay attention.
That's serious too. We're adults now.
Yeah. Because like the show The Witcher, I watched the first episode and I got through 20 minutes of it. I literally started the TV. I was like, I wasn't paying attention. I had to rewind the whole thing. I was like, I wasn't paying attention to any of that. I was just looking at shapes.
I'm just looking at shapes.
Just looking at shapes.
The Witcher's funny. You've never played that game, right?
No.
I played about 4 hours of that game. It was critically acclaimed. Fans loved it. I did not like it. For whatever reason, that makes me not want to watch the show.
Yeah, I never played the game, which I think is good and bad.
Yeah.
Kind of confusing, but also you go in with a fresh, like a lot of times when they do that, people are like, it's not like the game at all.
Yeah.
Fucking, or whatever.
It lowers expectations.
Yeah, or higher, or makes your expectations higher.
We're coming at this from different angles. I'm saying it lowers your expectations if you've never played the game.
Oh yeah. And that's the other thing too. Once a movie or a show has gotten out, like that happened to me with Bird Box.
I haven't seen it, but I don't care about spoilers for everything.
Spoilers for Bird Box. Yeah, spoilers for everything. Game of Thrones. course, he ends up being a douche.
Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
So, okay.
It's the fan.
So, Bird Box that came out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch it," because everyone's like, "Oh, it's a good movie, it's a good movie." And then people were like, "It should win every Oscar for the next 10 years," and I'm like, "Okay, now I have no choice but to hate it because you fucked it up. You made it right. That's how that movie was being hailed after the first couple weeks of its release. That it was the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah.
I didn't even finish it.
Really?
I got to the part where they were in the convenience store. They're in this convenience store, and you know what the premise of the story is?
You can't see. That's all I know.
That's not it at all. You
I never saw it.
There's these demons that get woken up. No explanation why. Nothing. And this is why I get okay. This whole rest of this is going to be a Bird Box breakdown. They get fucking what's her name? Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
She's pregnant. She doesn't know who the dad is or doesn't have a name for the kid yet.
Okay.
And she goes to the hospital with her sister. They find some girl that's looking weird. They come back out, and everyone just starts killing themselves. Everyone. Her sister's driving the car with her. Her eyes turn funny, and she just ramps the car off this thing, and fucking just everyone starts killing themselves.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, they end up in this guy's house, and they end up in there with this dude who works at a supermarket who just happens to be in this very specific nerding out of like Greek mythology or something, where like there's this one deity or this fucking demigod thing where it basically like you can't look at it. I'm like, okay, like I guess we're just gonna say this is a coincidence. So
hey, the movie has to happen, dude.
and there's no like, hey, maybe it's something else. They're like, that's what we're going with. That's what happened. We figured it out. It's like, no. The guy from aisle 3 just said he read a book once online, and he does this for fun.
Yeah.
He's not a doctor, professor. So they do that. They're in the house. Apparently, if you look at it through a camera, through anything, you kill yourself. So everyone's just killing themselves. Unless you're already out of your fucking mind. And then this thing takes you over, and then they try to get you to look at it. Wait. So like if you're mentally fucked up and you look at this thing, it doesn't make you kill yourself. It makes you try to get sane people to look at it.
Okay.
So everyone in this movie who's insane to begin with is trying to get other people to look at this thing. So they end up in the supermarket, and there's this guy locked in the fucking back, and he's like, you got to come out here. Like, you got to come out here, got to look at it. And they're like, oh, yeah, he's always been kind of weird. And then they, like, open it up, and he takes the one guy, and you hear him screaming, and he makes him look at it. They, like, open up his eyes or something. And then there's this old dude that shows up who's apparently a crazy guy, but he's just pretending he's normal. I guess that's the thing. Like, he's now pretending that he's not fucked up, not trying to get him to look at it. He ends up killing, like, 5 people by, like, opening up their eyes and making them look at this thing. But I shut it off. And I just texted Justin, and I'm like, what happens?
What?
I'm like, what happens? And he's like, some people die. John Malkovich dies. She gets back on a boat, and they find a school for blind kids, and that's where they live.
Okay.
Shocking. Yeah. So like I guess if your eyes don't work, because like blind people don't just walk around with their eyes closed all the time.
No.
So like I guess your eyes have to work.
Yeah, I guess your eyes would have to work.
So they just go there.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah, but the reason why it's called Bird Box is because birds, I guess, sense when these things are around, and they can't touch you. They're actual, real floating things, I guess. Oh. But they can't touch you.
That's weird. That's stupid.
Yeah. So the birds get all jittery when they come around. So she like keeps birds in boxes so that they know.
Oh.
So when they come around after, they just keep their eyes like real tight instead of just medium tight. Yeah. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But the fact that it would have been an okay movie, but the fact that people said it was that good made me hate it.
Have you ever had the reverse where you try to convince somebody to watch a show because you personally think it's so good, and then they do, and they're just like, and you like take it offensively, like I made that from scratch.
I have a pretty good sense of when I like something because I just personally like it, or when I like it because it's good.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at being like, if I tell somebody to watch a movie, I'm like, just so you know, this is like a shoot 'em up. It's not that good, but I personally like it because I think it's awesome. There's very few times where I say, like, I get that way with the top 5 movies that we went over, like Tombstone, Braveheart, Gladiator, like those 3 movies. If I'm like, yeah, watch that movie, and they're like, yeah, it's okay, I'm just like, fuck out of my house. Dump my coffee down the drain.
Leave.
Get out of my house.
Get out of my house.
Like when you told me you didn't watch Tombstone, or like you tried to watch it and you didn't like it, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? What have I done?
What have I done?
Rethinking all my choices, my friends.
You're stuck with me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Contractually bound to be friends.
Have you ever had that happen?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, what was the show? There's a show on Netflix called Sense8.
That sounds bad. Sounds really bad.
It's bad. But it was awesome though. And then in hindsight, I thought about it. It's one of those things where, like, as I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it. I really like it. And I really like it. And I really like it. And then in hindsight, I'm like, the more I think about this concept, the more it's not that good. But I already made other people watch it, and they were just like,
yeah, you couldn't.
Let's do something else. And I'm like,
couldn't-
now watch the show.
You couldn't take a step back and be like, I like this for my own silly reasons.
Yeah.
And most other people don't have those. But you were trying to convince them, like, it's really good. It's really good. Like 50 Shades of Grey. Garbage. Dumpster fire.
I've never read it. I've never seen the movies.
I watched the first one. I didn't watch the other ones, I don't think. Or if I did, I just couldn't.
Yeah.
My brain was just like, we're not going to make you dumber.
Yeah.
So they just shut it off. But I never read the book. Apparently, everyone's saying the book's better than the movie. And when everyone says that, I'm like, fuck you. I don't want to read the book.
That's always the case with everything. But
I think it's just readers wanting to be like, I'm better than you.
no.
I don't think it is.
I
don't read, so that's what I'm going with.
No, the difference between books and movies is that books allow for drastically more detail. So as long as you're able to keep up, if a book is still entertaining, it's that much more of a rich experience.
Yeah.
It's a infinitely wider
I agree.
world.
I
like
agree.
the Harry Potter universe, for you non-book readers. No, I'm just kidding. The movies are absolutely fantastic. They're amazing, but the books just have so much more depth to them. There's so much more cut out that, like, you care about as you're reading, but you just don't get to enjoy that as you're physically watching the movie, and it will bother you.
Yeah, it's probably more personal too, and I could use that from now on as my excuse about why I don't read. So I don't want to ruin all these shows that are coming out, movies.
That's fair.
But in a movie, they got 2-3 hours max to get that book onto a movie, so they got to leave some stuff out.
Some of those books were like 400 pages for kids.
Dude,
you can't put that into 2 hours.
when Harry Potter first came out, my mom bought me that book. Or when the movie came out, whenever the book came out, I think we were kids. And she bought me the book because it was like, she heard that it was like the best thing ever.
It was.
Well, she got me it, and I was like, "You got me a book?"
You little brat.
Like, no, I didn't say it like I was never like ungrateful with the thing, but I looked at the cover, I'm like, this looks really cool. And I opened it up, and I might have read 3 to 10 pages. And I was just like, it's so long.
To be fair, the very first chapter of the very first Harry Potter book is boring as fuck.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah.
It's
It gets
a big
good,
book.
though.
It's a big book.
It's a big book.
Yeah. I was intimidated by it. Yeah.
It's good, though.
I didn't read it.
None of you will ever know about Peeves.
Who?
Peeves. He's a ghost that, like, bothers people throughout the Harry Potter, throughout the entire series. He just, like, plays pranks on people. That was a hard one.
Oh.
Like, constantly. And then in the last book, during, like, the whole Battle of Hogwarts, he's just straight up murdering fools. Like, left the bad guys, but, like, so he was playing pranks on the good guys.
Is it Ghost?
Yeah.
How does it kill people?
He does things. I don't know.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's right. We're supporting another YouTube channel, kind of, sort of stealing his stuff.
Yeah.
A
A little bit.
little bit. What the fuck is the topic? Finding new show.
Yeah, how do you find new shows, guys? We're having trouble. Everyone I know is having trouble finding new shows because everyone I know says the same thing. They just put a show on in the background, and they end up, when they sit down, they just keep watching it.
You know what we need? Time. We need more time.
That's
because like it's not
good.
It's not finding new shows. I've only had Facebook for 6 months now. Like within the first 3 months, I put what's something to watch on Netflix. I had like 30 responses to that.
Yeah.
People just went ham on that because they got all excited.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched any of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because like I don't have the physical energy to sit down and, like you said before, I'm not going to pay attention.
But that's the thing is 30 different things. That's basically them telling you what's on Netflix. There's no, it's you'd have to go through that list and be like, all right, what's number one thing people said?
Okay.
And then be like, all right, it says.
So I need an intern
to show you or whatever. So
data.
you was listed 12 times. Like I guess that's the one.
I do want to watch. I do want to watch you eventually. That looks pretty good.
That's kind of creepy.
I know.
Yeah, that's
but
why
it's a cool topic though.
Yeah.
Stalker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't really solve anything here.
No. We weren't gonna solve anything. Let's face it.
We never solve anything.
No, we don't. We just talk
come
about
up with more
problems.
questions. We come up with more questions and we do answers.
God damn it.
Yeah.
So let us know how you find new shows. Let us know in the comments down below what we should be watching on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime.
And Disney Plus is
adding confusion.
No, I just real quick on Disney Plus. Disney Plus is there's nothing on there that's coming out that's new. They're just like, we have everything you love that's already been made, and we won't let it anywhere else unless you buy this.
We have everything you love.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. You go on there, you're like, oh, The Mandalorian is the only new thing.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Disney Plus now has my home cooking.
Yeah.
How's that? That doesn't even make any sense. How's that possible?
Get it back for $12.99 a month or $64.95 for the year.
Fido's on there too. My dog?
My dog? Yeah, Benji. We kill him.
If you don't
Old Yeller.
Buy this and we'll save a giraffe. Don't. We kill a giraffe. All right, everyone. Go to brodownpro.com. Let us then buy a whole bunch of shit, and we'll see you next time.
Like and subscribe.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh,